Hey guys, it's Jarek the Dragon from RDA talking at you from beside the camera, out of frame. I'm going to start zoomed in on this gun because it doesn't come with much. It just comes with the gun. And this is the gun I'm talking about. It is the Umarex licensed Glock Combat. I do not know what company OEM'd this gun, but I do know Umarex's name is on it. So that's the company that I have to refer to. But note, I will be referring to it as the Glock Combat a lot. So that's what this is called, the Glock Combat. The quality of this gun is actually surprisingly good. People want to know a lot about it. People don't know how it works. And they have some interest in it along with the P99 they just released, which basically works the same way. So the quality itself, the lower receiver is very, very nice. There's quite a bit of detail on here. Such in the back, there is basically everything down here is textured very nicely to make it more comfortable. It has a little bit of thumb hold right here on both sides. This gun is basically 100% ambidextrous. I mean, the functions are on the left side, as in the mag release and the slide release. However, the gun feels the same left and right-handed, and to lefties, pushing the slide and mag release isn't too hard on this gun, especially since the magazine release actually sticks out a little bit further than your standard pistol, which is a good thing. But back on topic with the quality, the lower receiver is very, very nice fiber plastic. It is not ABS, it's some sort of nylon fiber. It's very, very high quality. The slide is some sort of metal. It's definitely not pot metal, but the way it is gives it a really weird ring to it. At first I was kind of disappointed at that, but then I shot it and I was a little more happy about it. Because the sound this makes when you shoot it is a nice dinging sound, kind of like the GHK AK-74 and their AK line. It makes a very, very nice metallic clank when you shoot it. So that feels very satisfying. The gun itself actually kicks a lot too. The reason it kicks a lot, and actually a little bit more than other gas blowbacks, is because it doesn't actually cycle the next round. The point of the slide basically does absolutely nothing. The slide cycling is just to be cool, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Because it does go back all the way, and you can see it really does do nothing. But the way it works is there's basically a hole in the back of where the BB would be. It's basically in the back of the chamber. So most of the gas actually ends up going into the slide. And the rest of the gas goes into the BB. This lowers the velocity to about 300 feet per second, which I'm perfectly fine with that. The reason I'm fine with that is because if it didn't, it would be like over 400 feet per second, close to 500 feet per second. And that is not really field legal anywhere you go. So I'd much rather have it be 300 feet per second, where it is also CQB legal, than have it be 500 feet per second and not be able to use it anywhere. So that's kind of the slide functioning in this, and it's very, very simple. The other answer is that yes, it does use CO2 to work it. The magazine is interesting. It's kind of the slimmer style magazine. You do push the standard mag release and it'll drop it. This will surprise you. It is the skinny mag, however, it does have a big base plate. Now the reason I like that is because when you put it in the gun, it looks a lot nicer than just having this skinny mag and a fake base plate. Now to actually look at where the CO2 is, the other reason I like this is because instead of having a full mag with the CO2 in it and having to put CO2 in every single magazine, you just put one CO2 cartridge in the gun. How you access that is you push this button on the side and it opens up this hinge like that. And there's where the CO2 is. This gun is very gas efficient. I've been using the same CO2 cartridge for the chrono, the accuracy test, and about 10 other magazines I've shot off camera. You just simply push this in and it has the screw right here out of the way underneath the base plate so you never see that. But that's how you add in the CO2, and it's really that simple. The magazine also makes a nice sound when you insert it into the gun. Testament to how nice the plastic is, by the way. And let me go ahead and dry fire it a few times. This is something else that's kind of cool. The slide actually does lock back if you have no BBs, even though the slide itself doesn't really do anything. I'll take out the magazine, and you can see it won't lock back. Insert the mag with no BBs, it locks back. So it does actually lock back when you're done, and it does have a very, very strong kick. This gun also features fiber optic sights. These sights are actually very, very nice sights, very easy to line up. Probably my favorite thing about the gun is just the sighting, because it's really well done. Common misconception about fiber optic sights that they glow in the dark. They don't. Actually, the fiber optic sights are just supposed to magnify the light that goes through them. But like I mentioned, the sighting on this gun is just very, very nice. This gun also features a rail in the front. This is a standard rail, and you can pretty much add any laser or flashlight you want to right to the front. This gun's safety is on the other side like most non-blowbacks. It's simply this little button there. You push it forward, and it locks the trigger. Well, it doesn't lock the trigger, it just makes it so the trigger does absolutely nothing. Make it go on fire, and you can pull the trigger and fire. This also has another safety. It has a double safety right on the trigger itself, where you cannot pull the trigger back unless you're pushing the very middle of the trigger. Otherwise, it just locks in place. The trigger pull is actually semi-long. It's like a standard non-blowback, but the trigger pull itself is not a hard trigger pull. It just goes back a long way before it finally releases. Like that. However, the trigger pull itself, it's not very light, but it's not like a non-blowback where you have to pull it very, very hard. So the trigger pull isn't really much of a problem for having it go back that far. The gun has a fixed top unit. This isn't much of a problem because it is pretty accurate. You can hit targets at 150 feet away, but don't be planning on getting any headshot targets in 150 feet. Probably about 130 feet is going to be the maximum 100% you're going to hit your target range, which for a pistol is overall pretty much at the average. The average accuracy is what you're going to get out of this gun. It doesn't stand out too much in terms of accuracy, but it stands out in other ways a lot, as in the gas consumption is very, very good. Like I mentioned, I'm using the same CO2 cartridge as the Chrono, the accuracy test, about 10 other shots off camera, and here, and it's still not getting any weaker with every pull of the trigger. So the gas consumption is very, very nice, and the feet per second is about perfect, right where you want it to be. Alright, so I think I've covered everything on the gun now. If you want to buy this gun, there's a link down below to RDA's website. There's also a link down below to RDA's forum. You can talk to the community. So with that said, that has been Red Dragon Airsoft's review of the Glock Combat.